Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Pints and Quarts. This week is episode 12. Today is August the 20. What is it today? The 28th.
The 28th.
August the 28th of 2014. It's starting to feel like August here in Virginia, I can tell you that. And we are live with another episode of Pints and Quarts, a Craft Beer Nation show, and got some usuals on the panel here tonight. We've got a new person from our moderator group, Charles Dunkley, Doug Nolan, Gil Mello, myself, Matt Miller, and we're joined by a guest, a great Google Pluser, a good friend of mine. I've known him for a couple of years now, or since Google Plus has come around, Larry Fournillier. Larry, hello. How are you tonight?
Hello, gentlemen and folks out there. It's good to be on.
Well, we're glad to have you. We are a show about craft beer, so you know Larry's got a beer in his hand there. He had some jerk chicken, made some jerk chicken there earlier tonight, and he's drinking a nice lager from his hometown.
Yeah, it's called Stag. It's a man's beer. That we have two. We have Stag and Carib. Stag.
So you don't drink off?
Pardon?
So you drink often?
Not often. I might have a beer maybe over the weekend, or if it's hot like tonight, it's kind of warm. So I'm gonna have a beer. Well, I'm having a beer with you guys.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So
it's never hard to find a reason to drink on a Thursday night, and
especially Trinidadians. You know, any excuse to drink, we will do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be a football match or something on somewhere too that you can tune in when we're done here. So,
yeah.
All right, well, great, Larry. We're glad to have you with us tonight. We really just wanted to bring you on just to talk about some of the projects that you've got coming up. I know you've got another Hurl in Denver. We can talk a little bit about that, but we also wanted to talk a little bit about food pairing and we've done some food stuff with you. We actually had you and Stacy Frazier, cooked some Thai food last summer for us in a hangout.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
That was awesome.
And really, the two beers that you've got there tonight are crisp, light-bodied lagers.
Yes.
The one was 4.5%, I think, and the Stag was 6% or so. No.
The Stag was 6, and the Carib is 5.2.
5.2, yeah. So both of those beers really are gonna pair well with about any of the spicy cuisines from Trinidad, I would imagine.
Yes, they do. The other one, the Carib, that pairs really well with a curry, and also with if you're doing a jerk, which has a lot of spice in it, the jerk chicken. And I did a jerk, and I also did a something called jira, which is cumin. Use a lot of cumin and a Scotch bonnet in the wings that I did earlier today, and that worked well with the Carib. I had a Carib when I was eating that.
Well, fantastic. Really from Trinidad is everything spicy? It just seems like every time I'm talking to you, you've just
Well, the funny thing is, I know I lived in the States for a while, and when folks have young ones, they try to not let them eat any kind of hot food, they because they're small and they're still growing, and it's not good for their innards. But here in Trinidad, I'm the smallest child. You get pepper from a young age. I remember eating.
That's how you get your taste buds, right?
Yeah. I tell you, I remember eating pepper when I was about 6, 7, and I loved it. I gravitated towards it. However, my sister, she's 3 years younger than I, and she doesn't like too much pepper on her food. So, but the majority of people here in Trinidad, you gotta have a bottle of pepper sauce in your house as a condiment. It's like how you have ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
You have to have a bottle of pepper sauce. If you don't have a bottle of pepper sauce, you're not a Trinidadian.
Well, and I guess I'd be concerned that what the level of heat is to the Trinidadian hot sauce. How does it compare to American cuisine? Can you find something Americanized that you can compare it to?
No, actually, like I said, I lived in the States for a while, for about 33 years, and I never came across anything as hot as the peppers we have here. And just recently, on the Scoville scale, the heat scale, the Trinidad scorpion pepper was ranked at the hottest in the world. That was 2011. That had a Scoville heat rate of over 2 million. And that is hot. The Scotch bonnet is like 1.1 or 1.2 million.
Really, neither of those are fit to eat, really, are they?
Actually, I use a lot of Scotch bonnet with my food, and you just have to know how to temper it. You don't want to put too much because it could ruin the food. You just have to have a balance. And
then serve a glass of blue cheese dressing with it.
And actually, the Carib beer that we spoke of earlier, that goes well with a spicy curry. And what you can also do to temper the heat is add coconut milk or yogurt to your meal. When I cook curry, I use either coconut milk or yogurt, and it will keep the heat down because I use a whole pepper. I use a whole pepper, but I wouldn't advise that for somebody now starting.
Yeah, I traveled through Asia, and into Pakistan and other countries, and if it wasn't for yogurt, I probably wouldn't be able to bear the food. It was just, my face. And Matthew can relate it. We go like about 5 shades of red.
As I was typing in the chat, like my wife and I did our honeymoon in Jamaica, and there was one night where we had been drinking excessively, and we got in some Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, and I just put some like a dab on my French fry, and I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, my son was being like eaten out from the inside. It was like it was so unbelievably hot.
Yeah, and if you're not accustomed to it, it will give you pressure. Yeah, but once you usually when people come down here to Trinidad and they're new, and they're they say, yeah, I could eat anything hot. I give them just a little bit at a time. You have to basically spoon feed them, because if you just put a lot on your plate, you could ruin your dish.
I've never in my life had something that hot before, ever.
So when you eat and spice food like that, and then you want to drink something like, in our case, beer, what kind of flavors, what kind of things you're looking for to pair with that style of food?
Okay, good question. Now, before I went to Denver last year, and before Matt introduced me to the folks at Breckenridge Brew. Thank you, Matt. When I cooked here in Trinidad, it was basically working with the 2 brands we have here, Stag and Carib. 5.2 and 6, right? So I tend to put more coconut milk or yogurt to bring the heat down, so it wouldn't. When I drink the beer, it wouldn't be more pronounced in my mouth. The heat wouldn't be as, because the beer, what it does, it kind of raises the heat level just a tad bit. But when I went to Denver last year, I got to play with the different IPAs. They had an Avalanche, they had agave wheat, which I love, and actually I used agave wheat when I did the curry for the hurlers, and that curry was boss. That agave wheat, I don't know what they have in that damn thing, but it was awesome.
Well,
the thing is, I used the same amount of heat that I would when I cook here. I did the same thing over there, but it just went well. It went really, really well. That was the agave wheat and the Avalanche.
Okay, and the Avalanche is their amber ale, and the agave wheat was their summer wheat ale.
Right.
And I can see where an IPA would the hops and the bitter in the IPA would accentuate the spice. So if I'm eating chicken wings and drinking an IPA, that IPA just seems to turn things up a notch. Whereas if I were eating something that was too spicy and I wanted to temper that, I might go something maltier like a Scotch ale or a porter or something like that. I mean, Doug, you've done a lot of food pairings. Have you done spicy beers like that? Would you go, malty like a Scotch ale to bring it down?
Probably. I haven't really done a whole lot in the food pairings with beer as much, but it would make sense to me. It's something I'd like to get into more going forward.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we can go to Denver in September. What is it, the 24th through the 26th or 27th?
The 25th through the 28th.
I was wrong on both ends of the dates. All right, September 25th through September 28th, the Denver Hurl. And I don't know if there's sign-ups, but follow Larry on Google Plus. What everybody already does. But go to Larry's page on Google Plus, and you'll find information about that.
Actually, what I can do, I could put a link to the event in your event tonight. I could put the link to the Denver Hurl event.
Cool. Absolutely, that would be great.
Maybe I want to mention when he's talking about cook, maybe I just want to mention that maybe we what's that, Kona and Maui from Hawaii that do coconut
a brown ale, coconut brown ale.
Yeah, those would be maybe some good beers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the maltiness of a brown ale and the coconut. Yeah, what is that? What's it called? That's it's one of my favorite beers.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that might be something to maybe we'll put together a little beer care package and get it out to
Denver. They have the cocoa brown and they have the
cocoa brown.
Wailua wheat.
Yeah, would you be able to do that, Matt?
Yeah, we can ship you some beer.
Yeah, and what I can do, that would be a great experiment. I can make some curry, or make a spicy jerk chicken or something, and use one of those beers that you're going to send me.
Oh, coconut beer, yeah.
Coconut beer, and see how well it pairs. Yeah, that's great.
I think that one from Kona, the coconut is really present there. There's the porter that Doug was talking about there is from Maui Brewing, the coconut porter. I'll send you a few of them, and you can drink one and see what you think of it, and then cook with it.
Now, the thing about porters, because my experience in beer, craft beer, is not that extensive. When I got to Denver last year, I was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, I was drinking everything. But the porter, I remember the porter, it didn't sit too well with me. It made me feel heavy.
Yeah. Well, some porters are a little heavier bodied than others. The cocoa brown and the coconut porter from Maui, that one is real. I don't think that's terribly as heavy. And there again, you're going to the beer mecca. So there's you're going to be there just 1 week in advance of the GABF, the Great American Beer Festival. So everybody there is going to have their good stuff, and there's going to be lots of things for you to taste and try. So we'll make sure that you get some of these beers to cook with. And maybe we'll participate in your hangout, or we'll reshare the hangout when you go. You're probably going to cook those things on air, I would imagine.
Yeah. I will be doing. I'll be doing stuff on air, and what we could do is once you send it over, I will let you know when we're going to air.
Good.
And you guys could pop in the hangout. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. That'll be cool.
That'll be a lot of fun. All right. Well, there's some things to look forward to. So we will look for Larry, look for more from the Hurl, and if you want any kind of cooking tips or any kind of cooking shows and everything, are you still doing that pirate show? Your hangout, your cooking hangout?
I kept. It's a funny thing. I kept the pirate profile as long as I could because George Sepich and we both did the Pirates Pub. It was actually his brainstorm, and we did that for a year, and I told him, I said, George, we need to do it again. So he said, yeah, we will. So I said, look, I'm going to put up my private profile. As long as it's up there, I know there's hope. Well, it was there for over a year, so I had to take it back down. I just only removed it today.
Well, good thing I mentioned it then. So
yeah, the timing is great. The timing is great.
all right. Well,
there's hope. There's hope.
There's always hope. If we have hope, we don't have hope, we have nothing. We're going to talk a little bit, Larry, about some of the craft beer news. We've got a few more minutes on the show here, so we want to touch in on some of the news stories that we saw this week. And Gil brought to my attention one of my favorite stories of the week. It doesn't have a very happy ending, but what did you find out about that Brewworks place in Austin, Gil?
Oh well, Austin Brewworks. They released this. It's a 9 pack, right? I saw a video. A 1999, and I saw a video the guys put in the fridge, and some of those, you know how they have the slots, and they have to put shelves behind the cooler so they could stick the whole thing in, so they could have some on the cooler.
It's like 70 pounds, I think.
Yeah, the thing is they only made 20 boxes of those, right? And they sold everything, and they are just planning to make more. It's 82 pounds. A pack is 82 pounds, I think. That's what they
how
said.
Much,
and
how much was it?
$99.
That's a good 99. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
$99 for a 99 pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Peacemaker. I tried it. It's actually not a bad beer. It's a pretty solid beer. So it's not like they were just trying to get rid of a bunch of beer. I don't know. It's I can see it. It reminds me like a Subway when they had that catering sub box, that you could order, and they bring this, I don't know, 6 foot long.
I guess they need to get credit for being geniuses in marketing, because it's gotten them headlines all over the United States, and they only made 20 of these things.
Did you guys watch the video for it?
No.
You gotta check out the video.
There's a guy who looks like Doug actually carrying one of the packs on one of their videos. They're calling the Anytime is a good time for Peacemaker. It's different. I mean, everybody's talking about it, and I just thought.
Yeah, they open up the cooler, and they start pulling this box out of the walk-in cooler. Like if you're walking to like your grocery store, where you open up the door, you go like instead of grabbing like a 6-pack, the guy grabs the box. He's just pulling the box out. It's like 7 feet long or 8 feet long. It's a great video.
Yeah, I guess you got to have some friends over for that. 99 beers is a lot of beer.
It's only $100 too, though.
Yeah, buck a can, huh?
Because I bought 3 packs of Omegang for my barbecue the other day. Only 2 boxes went away, and everybody was quite inebriated. So 99 cans. That's a lot of beer to drink.
Yeah, since it's going to be just you and I, right? So.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we were talking about.
Yeah, Austin Brewworks. That's their name.
Austin Brewworks.
They're
from where? Let me guess. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Just gonna take a stretch of my imagination and say maybe Austin, Texas.
Yes, that's. I was about to say they're from Texas, so they want to say everything in Texas bigger. That's what
everything is big in Texas. Well, we were talking a little bit ago about the GABF in Denver the first week in October. I think October 2nd, and Doug's got a story here about the North Carolina breweries getting together to brew something.
The North Carolina Craft Brewers Guild, I think, is what it's called. There's 20 breweries in the state of North Carolina that are getting together to brew a batch of beer together. It's going to be brewed at Mystery Brewing. I should probably check the date on the article. I don't know if the brewing is. Looks like it's probably already been brewed. This article's from the 20th, and they said they were brewing it that weekend.
In October. It's going to be October 11th, I think.
Is when they're going to release it, though.
Yeah, it looks like it was already. It may have already been brewed, but it was being brewed at Mystery Brewing in Hillsboro, and it's made from all locally or North Carolina ingredients. The barley and the wheat came from Asheville. The sea salt came from the Southern Shores, and muscadine grapes from Dublin. And they're only making 8 barrels of the beer, and they will debut it at the Great American Beer Festival. And it's called North Carolina Goes Wild. It's a Goza style, sweet, sour, salty beer.
Say that name again. North Carolina goes.
North Carolina goes west.
Goes west. You said goes a wild, which is even a better name.
That would be a good name, actually.
Yeah, actually, I think Westbrook already did that with Goes a Gone Wild with their Stillwater collaboration.
It looks like after they do it at Great American Beer Festival, they're going to have it at the World Beers Festival in Durham on October 11th, and then tap rooms of the participating brewers will then sell the beer during September and October. But they're only making 8 barrels of it, so it's pretty limited.
All right, well, if you can't make it to GABF this year, then get to the October 11th. What was it, the North Carolina Brewers Festival?
The World Beer Festival, and I can't say I have been to this festival in past years, and it's pretty good showing.
Is that a All About Beer magazine festival?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah, I guess they've done.
I think it's a cool thing they're doing. I mean, they can have a long, they can reach areas that a lot of those brewers can get to. Maybe, move to other locations. I wish breweries like Noda would sell across border to more areas.
Yeah, I guess once they've got to be able to ramp up production to be able to not starve out their locals. So if they ship their beer to Virginia, then they don't make more of it, then they're hurting their local interests. So I don't blame them for going slow. Hardywood Park is now distributing here across the state of Virginia, well, at least west where I'm at here. So
we get them now too.
Took them a while to get their fermentation and their bottling and canning lines ramped up enough to be able to support it. So
I remember a Dogfish had 2 or 3 years ago. They had to send us a bunch of apologizing, because they went too far, and then all of a sudden they couldn't keep up with production, and they have to pull out of, I think, 5 states, which they just went back to some of those states last year. But it was pretty tough on them. I mean, they got a lot of hate mail.
Yeah. But it's the right thing to do, and I kind of think founders might have outstretched themselves here over the last couple of years, and I think they're doing the right thing in growing up and increasing their production to be able to support the markets they're in. Because I'm not in a large market, but when there's one case of KBS for 5 stores, that's kind of frustrating. I understand limited production, limited availability, but one case for 4 towns, it just doesn't make any sense. So
that's the same here.
Yeah. So Gil, let's talk about Due South.
I just want to mention them quickly. It's nothing big about Due South, but they're releasing a beer that's a pumpkin beer on can this year, and I was very excited. I'm trying all kinds of pumpkins. This is my pumpkin year. So they are located in, I think it's called Boynton Beach in Florida. I think that's how you say the name of the town. And so they're making this Isle of Magordo, which is kind of a cool name. They're August 28th, so it's today, the release. So that's pretty cool. I wish I was in Florida. Sometimes
the Isle of Magordo, huh?
Yeah. So look at the shelves. I'm just interested in see how those spices are gonna play out in the can, and I'm very curious. So I'm counting. I will call Jeffrey Davis on the air here and counting on him to get my hands on some of that.
Yeah, call him out right here on the air, Jeffrey. Send everyone who writes you a letter some of the Isle of Magordo pumpkin beer. I just I can't get enough beer in cans. If I have the choice to buy something in cans or bottles, I buy cans. I love the.
It seems to be a subject that we are talking a lot, and a lot of people calling trendy and things like this. But it's just that I guess we as a group are very excited.
Yeah, I've had enough light struck Heineken in my life to know that if we can eliminate light, let's eliminate light. Let's take it out of the equation. So I still have to look at. We talked about the BPAs coming from the can liners last week, but I do still need to research that a little bit and make sure that I'm not poisoning myself. But I think my body can absorb those extra BPAs, so I'm not giving them to my toddler. So.
But everybody makes a big noise when it's about beer, and then the same people go out and then get a can of Coke and just don't think about it. It's just
right. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys. So which is better, the bottle or the or the can?
It's really subjective, Larry. I think there's probably no difference when the beer is really fresh, but I think over time beer ages better in cans. I think you take light out of the equation. Light is not assisting in the breakdown of the hop oils, and I think it's great. So maybe in a beer that's not as hoppy, I wouldn't imagine a pumpkin spice beer to be very hoppy. I don't imagine the light would bother the spice and break it down, but I don't think that it's really any difference when it comes to that.
Yeah. I think only if you're aging something a very long time, a year or two, then you might want to get into a bottle and maybe even a cork, help your aging.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
All right, we're right down here to the end of the show. Let's talk real quick about the review of the week. If you're a Craft Beer Nation follower, you'll know that tomorrow night is our Friday night hangout at 10 p.m. Eastern, and the theme this week is Clown Shoes Brewing. So anything from Clown Shoes goes. So bring it in. Well, the review this week is from a guy named, let me find it, Derek Warren. And he's got a blog called tapthatbeer.blogspot.com. And he also, Charles said he's got a podcast. I think I listened to a few minutes of it. I think he's a Northeasterner. Is he from New York somewhere? Or maybe...
I think he's from up here somewhere. I haven't researched enough to see where he's located specifically.
Well, his article is from Monday. It's called Drink Up the Summer, and it's a review of Clown Shoes Clementine, which is their wit beer with clementine citrus in it. And I'm just going to real quick here read the description. It's just a little paragraph here. Clown Shoes Clementine pours a hazy golden orange with a white creamy head that leaves a thin lacing on the glass. The aroma is that of a typical wit beer with notes of coriander, orange peel, candied sugar, and that beautiful yeast dancing in the background and mixing with hints of spicy hops and sweet malt. The taste backs up the nose with the subtle spices, hitting the palate first, bringing forth perceptions of coriander and white pepper before giving way to citrus flavors of oranges combined with sweet sugar and followed by sweet malt and hop notes to finish it all off. Side note, this guy really likes long sentences in his writing. The medium breathe, Matthew, breathe. The medium body and moderate carbonation give this beer a creamy mouthfeel and creates a beer that is both highly drinkable and highly refreshing. Clementine is yet another fantastic beer from the oddly named Clown Shoes Brewery, but when they are making beers this good, honestly, who cares about the name? He goes on to talk a little bit about food pairing and the final word about some of the other Clown Shoes brewing things out there. I've had some Clown Shoes beer, and I've got one of their stouts lined up for Friday night, and I have not had the Clementine. Have any of you had the Clementine?
I did. It's a good beer. Yeah.
I have not had it.
Yeah, me either.
Sometimes I get so tied into pale ales and IPAs and things like that for summer beers, I kind of forget about those wits and that light-bodied beer with the wheat and the Belgian candy. That sounds refreshing on an August summer day as well too. So he's found a good one. He likes it. You can check out Derek Warren. We're going to reshare his Google Plus post out in the community. So come to Google Plus and see that, and or go to tapthatbeer.blogspot.com. and you can read his work directly. So thanks, Derek Warren, for unexpectedly giving us some content this week. We're going to talk real quick about festivals and releases. The first is a release. Bell's has got their Planet series. I don't know if you guys have seen this all around, but Mars is out. Mars is the Bringer of War double IPA is just out. I have not had it. I don't know if it's coming to my area, but I love the series. I love the idea of the series lined up with the music from the Planetary series. So we'll have to watch for that. And I know Bell's is all over the nation, so I'm sure it's just taking time to get here.
You probably should get it soon because a store here just got a case of it today.
Fantastic. Are they selling it in 6-packs or were they selling it in singles?
I haven't been to the store. They only got one case, so I think it's singles.
They'll break it down.
$2.49 or $2.49 a bottle or something.
Yeah, might be a nice idea to get one of these or two of these and build a little Planetary tasting. Hold on to them for a few months. I think the beers are coming out every few weeks here in the fall. So, all right. Prairie Artisan Ales has a farmhouse ale using the New Zealand Motueka hops. That's coming out September the 9th. Founders, their fall lineup has got their single hop IPA in September. Breakfast Stout, it's got another release coming out here in September. Imperial Black IPA called Dark Penance, that's in October. And then the one that I'm really excited about, I don't know about you, Doug, but I get a 6-pack of this every year. Their Harvest Ale is coming out the first week of October. And
between that and Breakfast Stout, those are probably my 2 favorite beers they make.
Yeah, that Harvest Ale is just hops in a glass. They wet hop it, and it is brilliant. It's bright. It's delicious. So I'll be looking for that.
It's the best smelling beer I think out there.
I think you're probably right. The aroma is what it's all about there. But it delivers the bitter taste with it too. So it isn't just all aroma. Alaskan has got their Pilot Series Pumpkin Porter. I believe it was just this time last year we interviewed them, and they were getting ready to roll out their Pumpkin Porter. I still haven't gotten that because Alaskan doesn't come this far east. Avery's got a couple of things. They've got a barrel aged series, Pumpkin, Rumpkin, some other things that's coming out. Looks like today.
Yeah, Rumpkin is the normal one they do, and they added their Pumpkin with the KY this year.
Ah.
6. Yeah, they're both like high ABVs if I'm not wrong.
16% ABV on the Kentucky barrel aged one, and rum is 15 to 18%. I don't know why they can't narrow it down more than 3%, but there must be so much rum in it.
Wow.
BJ's Brewhouse has got Field Day IPA, 6.5%. Almanac's got Heirloom Pumpkin Barley Wine. There you go. There's a pumpkin barley wine. That's a 12.8% monster. Ale Works has got Lover's Greed American Wild Ale that's out. And festivals, Cleveland's got their Labor Day Oktoberfest. You can probably imagine what weekend that is. That's this weekend, Labor Day weekend. The Lexington Fest of Ales is this weekend also in Lexington. The 6th annual Little Wood Barrel Aged Beer Festival in Bend, Oregon. I think we talked about that last week. It's actually going on all the way through this Sunday. Portland Brew Festival is this weekend. Savannah Craft Brew Fest in Savannah, Georgia is August the 30th. That's this Sunday. And I don't know if you guys listened to that show. What's it called? Brew, Drink, Run is a podcast. Those guys are from Savannah, and they're they're actually doing some Brew, Drink, Run tastings down there. So if you're a podcast listener, check up the Brew, Drink, Run podcast. The guys are pretty interesting, and they're from Savannah, Georgia. And the Key West Brew Fest is this weekend, and that is where Jeff Davis is going. I hope he ships us our pumpkin beer before he goes away for the weekend.
Before he goes away.
But he's going out to Key West. That's this weekend, and then next weekend is the Orange County Brouhaha, Oak Canyon Park, Orange County, California. So that is the listing. That is the rundown of the releases and festivals that we have. If you've got any you'd like us to talk about here, certainly leave a comment in the event or send us an email, or just come and post a comment on one of our threads at craftbeernation.org. And we've gone a few minutes over, but Larry is so interesting, and I love talking spicy food and beer.
That's my middle name, Larry Spice Fournillier.
Larry, he's the Trinidadian Spice Girl that got away.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Larry Spice.
Larry Spice, yeah.
All right. Well, Larry, thanks for coming on with us. Everybody else, thanks for coming. We'll see you next week, Thursday night, 9:30. We've got a photographer. We're going to talk about beer pictures next week. So thanks for joining us. Until then, grab some cold beer, find some good friends, and mind your P's and Q's.